In the winter of 2019, something strange happened inside the White House. It wasn't a press conference, it wasn't a speech, and no one was supposed to hear about it. But behind closed doors, a map was placed on the table. Not of the Middle East, not of China, not even of Russia. It was a map of ice. Greenland. For most of the world, Greenland is just a frozen island, empty, silent, harmless. But for the United States, Greenland has always been something else, something strategic, something dangerous, something impossible to ignore. Here is the uncomfortable truth. If America ever decided to move on Greenland, no country on Earth could realistically stop it. Not Europe, not Russia, not China. And tonight, in this quiet story, we are going to understand why. Greenland feels far away. Most Americans will never go there. Most maps push it to the corner. Most conversations forget it even exists. But geography lies, because Greenland is not far. It sits between North America and Europe, between the Atlantic and the Arctic, between old wars and the next one. During the Cold War, the United States already knew this. That's why America built bases there. That's why American radar systems watched the skies from Greenland. That's why Washington never really left. Greenland was never just ice, it was a shield. Here's something most people don't realize. There is no Greenlandic army, no navy, no air force. Greenland is a constituent country of the Kingdom of Denmark. But Denmark is small, and Denmark is far. If a crisis started, it wouldn't be solved in minutes. It would take days, weeks, and in geopolitics, time is everything. By the time Europe debates, by the time NATO discusses, by the time statements are written, the situation would already be decided. That's how modern power works. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly, quickly. For decades, the ice protected Greenland. Now the ice is melting. New shipping routes are opening. New military paths are emerging. New resources are becoming reachable. Oil, gas, rare earth minerals, the same minerals that power smartphones, electric cars, and modern weapons. China knows this. Russia knows this. And America knows this better than anyone. Greenland is no longer frozen in time. It is waking up. People often ask, wouldn't the world stop America? The honest answer is uncomfortable. Who would stop it? Europe depends on American security. NATO depends on American power. Denmark depends on American protection. Russia is busy elsewhere. China is frond cautious. No one wants escalation in the Arctic, so resistance would not be loud. It would be silent, and silence is not opposition. To understand America's unique position, we have to go back to a time when the world was on fire. The year is 1940. Nazi Germany has just invaded Denmark and Norway. The Scandinavian shield has collapsed. Suddenly, the vast, undefended island of Greenland is exposed. For the Axis powers, it's a potential unsinkable aircraft carrier in the Atlantic, a weather station to guide U-boats, a dagger aimed at the heart of North America. For the Allies, losing Greenland isn't an option. President Franklin D. Roosevelt understood the stakes immediately. The Monroe Doctrine, America's long-standing policy of opposing European colonialism in the Americas, was invoked. But this was different. Greenland was technically a Danish colony. So, Washington did something clever. It didn't invade. It made an agreement with the Danish ambassador in Washington, Henrik Kaufmann, who, acting on his own authority against the German-controlled government in Copenhagen, declared himself the free representative of Denmark. On April 9, 1941, exactly 1 year after the German invasion of Denmark, the United States and this self-declared free Denmark signed the agreement relating to the defense of Greenland. This document is one of the most remarkable in modern diplomatic history. It gave the United States the right to build and operate military bases, airfields, and naval facilities anywhere on Greenland for the duration of the war. In exchange, America promised to respect Danish sovereignty and defend the island from aggression. Overnight, Greenland became a de facto American protectorate. The move was a strategic masterstroke. It secured the North Atlantic shipping lanes, provided crucial weather data for the D-Day landings, and served as a vital ferry point for aircraft flying from America to Britain. Thousands of American troops were stationed there, building immense air bases like Bluey West 1 and Bluey West 8. They weren't just visitors, they were the new reality. When the war ended, most people assumed the Americans would pack up and go home. They didn't. The world had changed. The Nazi threat was replaced by the Soviet threat. The Cold War had begun, and Greenland's strategic importance had only magnified. It was now on the front line of a new global conflict. The shortest air route for Soviet bombers to attack the industrial heartland of North America was directly over the North Pole and Greenland. The island was no longer just a shield. It was the ultimate early warning system. In 1951, the original wartime agreement was replaced by a new one. This new treaty, signed with a now liberated Denmark, made the American military presence permanent. It granted the U.S. extensive rights to maintain and operate defense areas on the island indefinitely. This is the legal foundation upon which America's entire position in Greenland rests today. It wasn't a temporary lease. It was a perpetual right, woven into the fabric of the Cold War alliance. Out of this agreement rose one of the most secretive and ambitious military projects of the era, Thule Air Base. Located just 930 miles from the North Pole, Thule became the cornerstone of America's northern defense. It was a massive undertaking built in secret under the code name Operation Blue Jay. In the summer of 1951, a convoy of 120 ships arrived, carrying tens of thousands of tons of equipment and thousands of workers who built an entire city on the ice in a matter of months. Thule wasn't just an airbase, it was a fortress. It housed a ballistic missile early warning system, or BME, a set of colossal radar antennas designed to detect incoming Soviet missiles, giving the US a precious 15 to 20 minutes of warning time. But Thule was just the tip of the iceberg, both literally and figuratively. Deep beneath the Greenland ice sheet, the US Army embarked on an even more audacious project, Camp Century. Publicly, it was presented as a scientific research station, a demonstration of how humans could live and work in extreme Arctic conditions. The reality was far more sinister. Camp Century was a prototype for a top-secret plan called Project Iceworm. The goal was to build a vast network of tunnels under the ice, covering an area 3 times the size of Denmark. Inside these tunnels, the Pentagon planned to hide up to 600 nuclear missiles, creating a launch site that would be mobile, undetectable, and invulnerable to a Soviet first strike. The engineering was incredible. A portable nuclear reactor powered the entire city. It had labs, a hospital, a theater, and a chapel, all buried under the ice. For 3 years, soldiers lived and worked there, testing the limits of human endurance and technology. But the ice, which they thought was a stable, static shield, was in constant motion. The glaciers moved faster than anticipated, slowly crushing the tunnels. By 1966, Project Iceworm was deemed unfeasible and Camp Century was abandoned. The nuclear reactor was removed, but the waste, both biological and radioactive, was left behind, entombed in the ice, a ticking environmental time bomb that the world is only now beginning to confront. The story of Camp Century reveals a crucial truth about America's relationship with Greenland. Washington viewed the island not as a partner, but as a piece of real estate, a strategic platform to be used as it saw fit. The Danish government was often informed after the fact, or not at all. The Greenlandic people, the indigenous Inuit population, were almost completely ignored. In 1953, to expand Thule Air Base, the original inhabitants of the area were forcibly relocated, given just a few days to pack their belongings and leave their ancestral homes. Their hunting grounds were destroyed, their way of life irrevocably altered. This act created a wound that has never fully healed. This history of secret projects, broken promises, and unilateral actions created a deep and lasting mistrust. While Denmark remained a loyal NATO ally, a quiet tension simmered beneath the surface. The Danish government maintained a policy of not allowing nuclear weapons on its territory, including Greenland. But did the Americans respect this? The answer came in a flash of fire on January 21, 1968. A B-52 bomber, part of a top-secret airborne alert mission called Operation Chrome Dome, was flying near Thule Air Base. Inside its bomb bay were 4 hydrogen bombs. A fire broke out in the cabin, and the crew was forced to eject. The unmanned bomber crashed onto the sea ice of North Star Bay, just miles from the base. The impact and subsequent explosion of the conventional explosives scattered radioactive material, including plutonium, over a vast area. The crash, known as the Thule accident, was a disaster. It exposed the lie at the heart of the US-Danish security arrangement. American nuclear weapons had been flying over Greenland all along. The cleanup operation, codenamed Crested Ice, was frantic and incomplete. Local Greenlandic and Danish workers were brought in to help clean up the radioactive snow and debris, many without adequate protective gear. For years, they would suffer from mysterious illnesses. Both the US and Danish governments engaged in a decades-long cover-up, denying the full extent of the contamination and the true nature of the secret nuclear missions. The incident shattered the illusion of a benign American presence and fueled a growing desire for greater autonomy among the Greenlandic people. It was a stark reminder that when American strategic interests were at stake, Danish sovereignty and the well-being of the local population were secondary. The story of how America operates globally is often misunderstood. We think of grand declarations, of treaties and formal alliances, but the real story is much quieter. It's found in the fine print of trade agreements, in the silent handshakes between intelligence agencies, and in the technical standards that underpin the modern world. Let's look at something you use every day, the internet. Who truly controls it? Not one single government, not one single company, but the infrastructure, the core protocols, the physical cables lying on the ocean floor. Many of them were pioneered, funded, or secured by American initiatives. Think about ICANN, the organization that manages domain names. It was born from a US government contract. For decades, the US Department of Commerce had final oversight. That formal link is gone now, but the legacy remains. The DNA of the internet is deeply American. It was designed with principles of openness and free expression, but also with an implicit understanding of who held the keys. This isn't a conspiracy, it's just strategy played out over generations. America doesn't need to own the internet. It just needs the internet to operate in a way that is compatible with its interests. And by building the foundation, it ensured that it would. No one voted on this. There was no global referendum. It just happened, piece by piece, cable by cable, protocol by protocol. Now, apply this same logic to global finance, the US dollar. Why is it the world's reserve currency? It's not because of a law written in the sky. It's because after World War II, a devastated world needed stability. It needed a reliable currency to rebuild, to trade, to invest. America, with its untouched industry and its mountains of gold, was the only country that could provide it. The Bretton Woods Agreement formalized this, pegging other currencies to the dollar, which was pegged to gold. That gold peg is long gone, severed by Nixon in 1971. And yet, the dollar's dominance persists. Why? Because the entire global system was built around it. Oil is priced in dollars. International loans are issued in dollars. Central banks around the world hold massive reserves of dollars. To untangle this system would be like trying to change the direction of a river with a bucket. It's not impossible, but it would cause a flood that would swamp everyone. This gives America an incredible power, often called an exorbitant privilege. It can run huge deficits, borrowing money in its own currency, a luxury no other nation truly has. It can also use the financial system as a weapon. When America imposes sanctions, it's not just a symbolic gesture. It can cut a country off from the global banking system, freezing its ability to do business with the outside world. This is not military power. It is something far more subtle, and in many ways, far more effective. Russia and China have been trying for years to create an alternative to this dollar-centric system. They talk about de-dollarization, about trading in their own currencies, but they face a monumental challenge. It's not just about convincing other countries to trust the yuan or the ruble. It's about rebuilding the entire plumbing of the world economy. All the software, all the contracts, all the financial habits developed over 70 years. This is the American model of power. It's not about planting a flag. It's about writing the code. It's about setting the standard. It's about building the system in such a way that everyone else finds it easier, safer, and more profitable to play by your rules. You don't need to command them. Their own self-interest does it for you. Let's shift our focus to culture. Hollywood, American music, fast food chains, they are everywhere. Some call this soft power. It's the ability to get what you want through attraction rather than coercion. And America is the undisputed master of it. But it's not just about movies and burgers. It's about the export of an idea, the American dream, the belief in individualism, in upward mobility, in the pursuit of happiness. This idea is incredibly seductive. It has powered protest movements and inspired entrepreneurs from Seoul to São Paulo. When a young person in a distant country learns English by watching American sitcoms, they are not just learning a language. They are absorbing a worldview, a set of cultural norms, a way of seeing their own possibilities. Of course, this isn't a purely benevolent process. This cultural tide can also wash away local traditions and create unrealistic expectations. But its power is undeniable. It creates a global conversation where America sets the terms of the debate. It creates a sense of familiarity, a feeling that even in a foreign land, you can find a piece of America. This doesn't happen by accident. After World War II, programs like the Fulbright Scholarship were designed specifically to bring future foreign leaders to the U.S., to immerse them in its culture and its institutions. The goal was to build a network of friendly elites around the world, and it worked. So you have military bases that never leave. You have a financial system built on the dollar. You have an internet whose architecture has American fingerprints all over it. And you have a global culture that is saturated with American ideas. None of this required a grand invasion. None of it was announced in a dramatic speech. It was the result of 1,000 small, strategic decisions made over a very long time. This brings us to the concept of the hub and spoke alliance system. Look at a map of America's major alliances. In Europe, there's NATO. In Asia, there are bilateral treaties with Japan, South Korea, the Philippines, Australia. Notice the pattern. America is the hub. Everyone else is a spoke. They are all connected to Washington, but they are not necessarily connected to each other in the same way. This structure is brilliant from a strategic perspective. It prevents any one ally from becoming too powerful. It prevents regional blocs from forming that could challenge American leadership, and it ensures that in any crisis, all roads lead back to Washington. If there's a dispute between Japan and South Korea, two of America's closest allies, who mediates? The United States. This role as the indispensable middleman gives America immense leverage. It can play allies off each other. It can set the agenda. It can define the nature of the threat and therefore the nature of the response. This system is now facing its greatest test. As China rises, it is attempting to build its own system. The Belt and Road Initiative is not just about building roads and ports. It's about creating new hubs and new spokes, all centered on Beijing. It's a direct challenge to the American-led order. But again, China faces the same problem as Russia does with the dollar. It is trying to replace a system that has been in place for decades, a system that most of the world has become comfortable with, even if they sometimes resent it. This is the quiet, almost invisible empire that America built, an empire of systems, an empire of standards, an empire of influence. It doesn't rule through governors and viceroys. It rules through network effects, through incumbency advantage, through the simple fact that its way of doing things became the world's way of doing things. And dismantling that kind of empire is a far more difficult task than simply defeating an army on a battlefield. It requires changing the very way the world works. Now, think about space, the final frontier. For decades, the story was a competition between the USA and the USSR. But after the Soviet Union fell, America's dominance became almost total. The Global Positioning System, or GPS, is a perfect example. It's a constellation of satellites built and operated by the US Space Force. Every time you use your phone for directions, you are using a military asset owned by the United States. And for a long time, the world was perfectly happy with this. The US provided the service for free. It was reliable. It worked everywhere. But here's the catch. The US military retains the ability to degrade or deny that signal to its adversaries in a time of conflict. Everyone knows this. That's why Europe built its own system, Galileo. It's why China built its own system, Beto. And it's why Russia maintains its system, GLONASS. They are not willing to let their own navigation, from guiding ships to timing financial transactions, be dependent on the goodwill of another country. But notice how this plays out. Even with these alternatives, GPS remains the gold standard. It had a 30-year head start. Most devices are designed to use it by default. Again, America didn't need to force anyone to use GPS. It just built the best system first, offered it for free, and let network effects do the rest. It created a dependency so deep that it has taken other global powers decades and billions of dollars to even begin to create a partial alternative. This is the essence of the American method. Arrive early, set the standard, become the indispensable provider, and then you never really have to leave. Your power isn't based on your ability to force people to do things. It's based on their unwillingness to live without the system you created. It's a form of control that is both more resilient and far less obvious than old-fashioned conquest. The foundation of this power is not just military might. It is the quiet, persistent, and brilliant establishment of systems that the rest of the world has come to rely on. Ready to unwind? Imagine this. The day's hustle is finally over. The lights are low, and you're sinking into your favorite chair. What's missing? That perfect touch to transform your evening into something special. Here, we believe every night deserves a little bit of magic, a moment of pure comfort and calm. We're all about creating that cozy, luxurious feeling, like being wrapped in velvet. From soothing stories to tranquil sounds and relaxing conversations, this is your personal escape. It's your time to decompress, to breathe, and to just be. So, are you ready to settle in? Go on, hit that subscribe button, and let's make every evening a velvet night together. You've earned it. See you soon.